Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. I hope you are having a great day. In today's stories, OP and her husband receive an ultimatum from their daughter, and they don't know what to do, since if they give in to her wishes, they could lose everything. Am I the idiot for refusing to stop seeing my daughter over her sister? I, 56 female, and my husband Kurt, 59 male, have two daughters, Ruth 32 and June 30th. 8 years ago, Ruth split up with her college boyfriend, Adam 32, they'd been together since she was 21, and it was as serious as a college relationship could be. About 5 years ago, June announced that she reconnected with Adam at some alumni get-together, they'd all gone to the same university, and that they were now dating. Of course, Kurt and I were shocked she would do this despite her sister's history with him. But she insisted that they were in love and she can't help that, and that Ruth and Adam hadn't been together in years, so she hasn't done anything wrong. Well, that's not necessarily true. It's more of a situation of, even if you can, maybe you shouldn't. Ruth understandably was enraged over it. She said she was done with June and would never see her again. This broke me. They were so close growing up and I prayed every day they'd reconcile. But I accepted they're adults who can make their own choices and we have no say. Kurt and I were also very disappointed with June and told her off many times, but after she proved that there was never any cheating involved while Ruth and Adam were together, things between us settled down. Out of respect for Ruth's feelings, we never brought the girls together again. Ruth and June visit us separately and still aren't on speaking terms, after 5 years, but we maintained our relationships. Now, June and Adam are married, and Ruth has also moved on with a lovely boy. Coincidentally, both girls are expecting their first child. Ruth's due date is a little earlier. I can't put into words how excited we are to be grandparents, and adore both these children. I've been supportive and as involved with both our daughters' pregnancies, as they want. However, last week, Ruth drops a bomb on us. She said that if we ever see June again, or her baby, she won't allow us in her child's life. This shattered me. It's kept me up every night. The thought of either of my grandchildren being deprived of loving grandparents is agonizing. I know Ruth was deeply hurt by June's actions, but I don't know if we should be punished just for not cutting our kid off. How can any parent even consider disowning a child? We begged her to reconsider and said our love for them both isn't conditional, and we can't just stop loving one. But she's adamant. I don't want to accept Ruth's terms, as it seems like no matter what we decide, we're going to lose a daughter and grandchild, so I'd rather it not happen because we outright chose it. But I also don't want Ruth to believe we just drop her in favor of June, because again, the thought crushes me. Would I be the idiot if I don't comply with Ruth's ultimatum? OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the a-hole. I've refused to agree to my daughter's ultimatum that my husband and I cut off her sister, which has led her to threaten to cut us off from herself and her child. OP gives more info in the comments. Was Ruth's breakup over some big drama? Or just realized they weren't a match? I'm not 100% clear on the reasons, because Ruth didn't want to share everything and I didn't want to pry, but it seems things just weren't working out. Adam was a nice enough boy at the time, but he definitely hadn't grown up yet. He said some things and made mistakes out of immaturity that irritated Ruth. I think she made the right call in walking away from him, but I felt very badly because she did care about him and invested lots of effort in the relationship. But I do know there wasn't any abuse or cheating involved, at least not as far as Ruth knows. We did ask her why she didn't give us this ultimatum before, and why now, when it's such a sensitive time with both of them being pregnant. She said she was fine with how things were arranged before, but that the fact that her sister is having a baby with her ex-boyfriend makes her sick. She said now she's going to have to see evidence of June's child when she visits, like photos or toys lying around, or drawings they might make for us. We swore we would be careful and not leave those things lying around whenever Ruth's family visits. We promised we'd put the toys and photos away so that Ruth wouldn't have to be reminded of them, and when she visits, it can just be about her and we'd try to not even mention June. She wouldn't accept it. She said it doesn't change the fact that she knows we'd put them all up again after she leaves. June's family photos would be right next to hers, when she thinks they shouldn't be because June got her family by hurting her sister. I'm just at a loss for how to placate her. Sometimes I wish Adam had never come into our lives, though of course I would never say that, especially now that he's our grandchild's father. I'll be the first to admit he's a good husband. Info: how have you been organizing family events for the last 5 years? Who attends Christmas? How do you celebrate your birthday? Etc. The girls aren't always able or willing to spend every single holiday with us, which is perfectly normal and fine with us. Sometimes they'd rather spend it alone with their spouses or with their in-laws. Ruth came over when June didn't and vice versa. It hasn't been hard to do all these years at all, other than emotionally, because I lost the ability to have all my family together. We don't really invite any of them to celebrate birthdays because it's not something any of us celebrate anymore. They call us and send us gifts, that's enough. We've never excluded anyone and have made it clear that the door is always open if they ever make amends and want to come over together again. I probably sound crazy, but thinking of this almost breaks my heart most of all. I know a few people who've been denied access to their grandkids who do this. The thought of sending gifts, cards, money, photos, etc., that will all end up in some dusty box in an attic somewhere that our grandchild may never see, absolutely kills me. They'll never know how much we love them and yearn for them. I've wondered if Ruth would just throw everything away, and there wouldn't even be any proof that we sent them or cared at all. If she asks us to stop sending them, we'd have to comply, but even if we get to shower June's child with love, I can never not think of the fact that we can't do the same for Ruth's. The thing is, Ruth claims that in continuing to have a relationship with June, her father and I have already chosen her over Ruth, because it hurts her to think that we are condoning her choice and the hurt it caused Ruth. She says she was never the one who hurt June this way, so we should take her side over June's for this because she was the one who was wronged, not June. We were on her side. We told June many times that this was unfair. We comforted and supported Ruth when it happened. She'd practically moved in with us for a few months following the announcement, but we couldn't find it in ourselves to be angry with June perpetually. Oh boy. No, OP, you're not the idiot for choosing not to make a decision. But as you said, unfortunately, it seems that either way, you're going to end up losing somehow. Even if you refuse to make a decision, your daughter will make it for you. I'm not going to discuss whether Ruth is wrong in not wanting her sister and ex in her life, or if she should have been over it by now, or if since she and Adam were already broken up for so long, then there was no real problem for June and Adam to be together, or if they are in the wrong here and betrayed Ruth. I'm not going to get into that, but I think Ruth's ultimatum regarding the children is ridiculous. She has every right to not want her sister in her life, and you have respected that. But for her to make you also cut her and her future children, your grandchildren, out of your lives is too much. She's being totally irrational and unfair. And what does her husband say about this? Does he agree with her? Maybe he also doesn't want her ex in their lives at all? Even as a brother-in-law? I don't know. But I also wonder if the relationship between the sisters was as good as OP says. Before everything happened, I mean, dating your siblings or your friend's ex is a big no-no, but cutting off a sibling that you were close to for so long, and still expecting your parents to do the same, after so many years. I don't know, it seems like there might be more to it. Even though there was no cheating, maybe there's more to it than OP knows. Maybe the relationship between the sisters wasn't that great. I don't know. But either way, OP, you're not the idiot here, not at all. And I'm sorry you're in this situation. I hope that if you continue to talk and give Ruth some time to think, she ends up changing her mind. Since she's going to be a mother now, she'll feel the same love for her child that you feel for her and her sister, and I hope with that she will understand how difficult and awful is this decision she is asking of you, and hopefully, she gives up on it. And what do you guys think of this situation? What would you do in OP's shoes? Would you give in to the ultimatum? What would you do? Don't forget to leave your thoughts down below. Not the idiot, she's just making a final bid for control and using the baby as leverage. What happened to Ruth sucks, but she shouldn't be trying to take out her feelings on you guys, who sound like loving parents. Tell her that you don't like the ultimatum and leave the door open. should she change her mind. Not the idiot, tell Ruth that you will never turn your back on any of your children, and that she is making the choice to not be a part of your life. Let her know that your door is always open, and as much as it hurts, continue to send cards, Christmas and birthday presents to your grandchild. She will most likely come around, but even if she doesn't, you will know that you kept the lines of communication open, while respecting her boundaries. Not the idiot, Ruth is being impossible. She is free to not talk to her sister ever again, but she cannot dictate your relationship with other people. Also, while I understand she feels betrayed, June is right. It has been years and there was no betrayal during their relationship. I think Ruth needs to grow up. Everyone sucks here. June, because she committed one of the biggest acts of betrayal against her own sister. There's billions of people, she didn't have to act on her feelings for her sister's acts. And Ruth for giving you an ultimatum. And you for seemingly only caring about if cheating was involved or not. Of all the people she could choose, June chose her sister's acts? People are calling Ruth childish, but June is the childish one. There's almost 8 billion people and she had to choose her sister's acts. I want to say you're not the idiot for wanting a relationship with both your children, but at the same time I know where Ruth is coming from. You're accepting a daughter and a man who did her wrong. And what about you guys? What do you think of the comments? Do you agree with them? What would be your advice to OP? Don't forget to leave your comments down below. Now let's read more details that OP gave about this situation. Oh, and I hope you are enjoying the video so far. If so, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notifications to know when a new video is out. Now let's continue with the story. Entirely too many comments to respond to individually, so I just want to answer some of the most common questions here. Why did Ruth and Adam split up? Ruth left Adam because it just wasn't working, he was immature, and said and did things that irritated her, mostly lots of minor things adding up. She said there was never any abuse nor cheating, but it was the right decision for herself. He was a nice enough boy, but he definitely had some growing up to do at the time. I did feel very badly for Ruth, because she had invested a good few years into the relationship for someone so young, but agreed it was the right decision. Did we ever support Ruth? Ruth stayed with us for a few months when it first happened, not just because of this, there were other reasons, and we were there for her and comforted her the whole time. Because she was so angry, we had asked June to not visit until she left. We still talked to her and met a couple of times in public places. We made it known that this hurt her sister and we were disappointed she didn't think of this. June understood and agreed with us supporting Ruth. She expressed sadness over losing her sister, but we clearly told her it was Ruth's decision to cut her off. Whether one thinks June did nothing wrong or not, it's untrue to say there were never any consequences for this. She's sad to this day that she's lost her sister, and knows she has to accept and live with it. Did June ever apologize to Ruth? Both girls have confirmed that June reached out a few times over the years to apologize, no one put her up to it. Ruth didn't forgive her and she's well within her rights not to. We understand no one can or should make her accept the apology. Why don't we just cut off Adam? He's June's husband and the father of our second grandchild, they're a package deal now. Once we cut him off, we risk losing June and our grandchild anyway, which is the same as what I'm trying to prevent with Ruth. Some comments say that in letting June stay in our lives after this, I already chose her, and asked why I didn't cut her off from the start. I'm baffled that anyone would suggest I could just disown a child so easily like she was never ours. Not disowning June doesn't mean I chose to be her mother over Ruth's. I never abandoned Ruth and never will. Ruth has thanked us for our support in the past. She said she was fine with how we'd arranged things for the last 5 years. As long as she never had to see June, she was happy seeing us and everything was normal between us. It's only now that she wants us to disown June. Some say she should have cut us off years ago for still loving June. She said many times her goal isn't to cut us off. She loves us and wants us to be involved with her child, but that she can't stand June or her baby getting the same love and care from us, because she thinks she doesn't deserve it. I want to add that if Adam had ever abused or cheated on Ruth, we certainly would have gone no contact or at least low contact with them. But that's not what happened, and both girls used to repeatedly tell us that what happened between them had nothing to do with us. So yes, I did keep my relationship with both daughters. I don't regret it, because as heartbreaking as this is, willingly cutting off either of them, outside of the circumstances I mentioned, is unfathomable to me or their father. Thank you again to everyone for their good wishes, and for suggesting family therapy. I will try and bring it up with Ruth and my husband. We suggested it when things initially happened, but dropped it when she said no. Edit. Thank you to everyone for commiserating with this situation. I wish I could say it's helped me feel better, but right now it feels like nothing ever will. One of my babies hates the other. It broke me, but I accepted it. Now I'm faced with losing one of them no matter what. Well, and what do you guys think of this situation? How would you deal with this if you were OP? Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. And that's it for today, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it. If so, go watch the video that is appearing on the screen right now or click on one of our playlists that are in the description to watch more videos. Until next time.